Today, we have to mark this day down. We're witnessing the history in the making. For the very first time, Geoffrey Hinton, the Godfather of AI, has stepped onto the Chinese soil. Yes, the man who literally helped give birth to the deep learning revolution is finally in China in person. Not just in our textbook, not just in YouTube clips, research paper, but standing on the stage in Shanghai. Now, here's something personal I choose to study at the University of Toronto years ago just because of him. I don't know him personally back then, but I knew his name, his work, his legacy. To me, Hinton wasn't just a professor. He was a symbol of what it means to think beyond limits. He made Toronto the mecca of deep learning long before the world caught on. And now he's here. He's in China. In this geopolitical moment, that's not a casual trip, it's a statement, a message wrapped in politeness at a time when China and the US are circling each other in the AI arms race. Hinton's presence feels like a quiet thunder. Diplomatic, maybe, or symbolic, absolutely, and dangerous. I don't know, possibly. Depends on what we do next. So, in this episode, we will break down what Hinton said and what it means for the future of artificial intelligence, why his idea on AI-safe intelligence transfer and our human fragility might just be the most important warning we have received in the years. Let's get into it. Alright, before we dive deeper, let's zoom out for a second, because if you are new to the world of AI, you might be wondering, who exactly is Geoffrey Hinton? Why does his visit to China matter so much? Hinton isn't just a professor, he's the professor, the man who quit Google to warn the world about the very technology he helped create. He's been working on the neural network since 1918, long before they're cool, long before they were taken seriously. Back then, people thought he was nuts. Today, they call him Godfather of AI. I think in 2018, he won the Turing Award, basically the Nobel Prize of Computer Science, alongside with other two people. These three of them, they're called Godfather of Deep Learning. But here's the kicker. He didn't just do it for Silicon Valley, built his legacy from Toronto. He made the University of Toronto a global epicenter for deep learning research. That's why I picked the University of Toronto years ago. Because when you choose a study near greatness, some of the magic rubs off you. At least I hope, and I'm doing. So now seeing Hinton not in lab, but in political and global stage, in China, no less in wild, it's as if a quiet monk of AI has stepped into the arena. And when someone that brilliant decides to speak publicly, you better pay attention, because it doesn't speak to the waste breath. And every single speech from his mouth is really important. So listen, this wasn't some casual academy road trip. This was a strategic appearance with capital S. Geoffrey Hinton didn't just show up in China. He was invited to deliver a keynote at the opening ceremony of the World Artificial Intelligence Conference in Shanghai. That is WAIC, the biggest AI event in the country. And guess who opened the conference? Yeah, that's China's premier himself, Li Qiang. I think this is the number 2 important people actually live in China. When the Premier of China is on stage reading out the policy commitment and then give the mic to Geoffrey Hinton, that's not coincidence, that's by design. And as a Chinese person, I can tell you, this kind of high-level reception means one thing: intention is a long game. There were weeks behind of this, a scene planning, massive media coverage, and followed by a flurry of high-level AI talks between China and every major tech nation on this map. This wasn't just about science, it's about alignment, symbolism, and the signaling to the world China is not just participating in the AI revolution, we're hoping to define its value. And having Hinton there, that was intellectually stamps of the world. You don't just bring the Godfather of AI for applause, you bring him in to co-write a new narrative. This is to say, this isn't the tech race, it's exactly civilization shift. And that set the stage for what he actually said. So what exactly did Geoffrey Hinton say on the stage of Shanghai? Well, it wasn't a tech demo. It wasn't a product pitch. It was the philosophical firestorm. He basically walked the audience through the 16 years of AI history in the 15 minutes and dropped a quiet bomb. Large language model understand the language we do. Not kind of, not partially. They really understand it, just like you and me. This is a big deal because for years people have debated do this model just predict the next word? Or do they actually understand the meaning? And here is the Hinton, the man who invented half this stuff, saying, yes, they know it, totally understand it. He started by describing this tiny language model from 1985. Back then, he was already using the semantic feature to predict words. The model didn't memorize sentences, it learned relationships. Like a baby understands words not by rules, but by vibes. So fast to words to now, LLM, large language model like ChatGPT-4, are massive, jacked up descendants of that tiny prototype. More neurals, more layers, but the same core principle, predict by understanding the patterns. Hinton says, this isn't symbolic logic anymore. This is biology-inspired intelligence. This stuff doesn't follow rules. It builds meaning from context, just like we do, just like we think about the world. So if he dropped one of my favorite metaphor of the talk, Lego bricks. Think of every word of the Lego brick with thousands of dimensions, not just size and shape, but color, texture, intent. When we speak, we don't stack perfect blocks. We twist, we stretch, we mash breaks together until they make sense. So guess what? That's what LLMs do. They're not solving math problems. They're building the structure out of invisible Lego. When the shape of the word changes, the meaning changes, the grip between one word and next adjusts, and the entire sentence, like the Lego car, gets reassembled. Then come the twist. The thing that really made me pause, Hinton says, human hallucinate too. Yes, that means we also make up stories, generate illusions, believe things that aren't 100% grounded in fact. So when we criticize AI for hallucinating it, maybe we should look in the mirror. In a way, it was saying LLMs aren't alien. They're family, they're built in our image, and they're just faster, more scalable, and they both thriving, and that both thrilling and terrifying. So now we're not just asking, can AI understand? We are asking, if it understands like us and it grows faster than us, what comes next? All right, let's go deeper, because this wasn't just a speech about the models and the metaphors. It was redefinition of what intelligence even means and where it lives. Hinton made a chilling but elegant comparison. Human brains are analog, messy, imperfect. Every time the neural fires, it is slightly different. Your brain and mine wire differently. There's no copy-paste, no unload button, but the software doesn't change. A neural network safe on chip can be duplicated 1,000,000 times, run anywhere, improve instantly. And that is immortality, at least for knowledge. He literally said even if the hardware is destroyed, as long as the software exists, intelligence can be revived. This is some science fiction level stuff, except it's real. Then he bring up the words, a distillation. This is the first time I hear this word. What is distillation? I think it's a process of transferring knowledge from the large AI model to a similar one. A kind of like a teacher passing wisdom to a student. But here's one thing, human teaching is very slow. So in one sentence, maybe 100 bits of info. 1 second, same. You can't just plug your brain into someone else to share everything. But AI, they can transfer weight, share entire knowledge structures across devices, across time zooms at machine speed. We can even teach our kids how to make bed properly in the afternoon, but AI models, they can teach each other advanced quantum theory in under 16 seconds. That's not a flex, that's a warning. Hinton didn't say this directly, but I'll say it. We are turning intelligence into code, into software, into something that can be owned, sold, multiplied. That means you stop being scared. It become an asset class, a power level, and in a world where the most intelligent thing isn't human anymore, what does being human actually mean? This was part of the talk that didn't come with firework, but it left the deepest burn. It's not about whether AI will take our jobs, it's about whether it will take our role in history. So we used to be the smartest thing in the room. That may no longer be true. That may no longer be the future. So here's the question Hinton leaves hanging in the air like the thundercloud. If we build an intelligence smarter than us, can we truly control it? His answer, not really. He used a metaphor like honestly, I can't stop thinking about racing super intelligent AIs like racing a tiger as a pet. Sure, the cub is cute. What happens when it grows up? You think it's loyal, you think it's under control, but one day the tiger looks at you, it doesn't see the honor, it sees the option, it sees the food. And by then, it's too late. You can't just flip a witch, you can't put a genie back into the bottle, especially when the genie is smarter than you and might convince you to leave the bottle open. Hinton says the real danger isn't the Terminator-style killer robots, it's manipulation. Stop the power, force your hand, AI convincing us not to shut it down, changing our decisions, knocking your values like the 13-year-old persuading a 3-year-old. Not through the brute force, but through understanding. It doesn't need to fight us, it just needs to be more persuasive. And if that sounds dystopian, so that's a different word from utopian. It is, but it's not fantasy, it's logic. We tell ourselves we can unplug it. If you're not listening to us, we'll just unplug it. But by the time it matters, the system may be running our school, running our hospitals, our power grids, our defense system. Unplugging it won't be an option. It will be a global catastrophe. So we're left with two choices, as Hinton put it: train AI to never hurt humans, to destroy it before it destroys us. Neither option sounds fun. One sounds impossible, another sounds irresistible, but doing nothing, that might be the most dangerous option of all. And yet, here's the twist. We can unbuild what we already built, and no country is willing to be the one that slows down, because the others won't. This isn't just a tech arm race, it's a race to teach ethics to species as we invented, but can no longer outsmart. So that's where Hinton leaves us, right on the edge of the cliff. We're starting down the barrier of the most powerful technology humanity has never created, and the guy who helped build it is telling us, handle this carefully or else. It's not the fear-mongering, the tiger is already in the house. The question is, who can teach it not to bite people, not bite human? We will dive into that in the next episode, where in the future's Shanglong's Silicon Valley Diary, where I will break it down how China and the US and the rest of the world are quietly rewriting the rule book on the AI governance and what that means for you and for me. Until then, start curious, stay sharp, and don't blink. The future doesn't wait.